What a beautiful day at the office. Hello and welcome everyone at the Autodrome in Most. It's round number 5 of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and it's race number 3 on this Sunday. We've seen the qualification, and right now we are ready to gear up for a spectacular race here at the Autodrome in Most. And as you can see, grid walk time. Lots of personnel here, lots of fans, children, men and women taking some pictures. And of course, we want to see our drivers in a good mood. They absolutely are after all that happened at the qualification. Well, one exception I have to make. Stefan Faas was not quite happy because he need to be towed out of the grid, but finally he can start from P number 12. So we do have the full pack here, also ready for our broadcast for you, our 3 commentators. It's Joachim Eberts, it's Chess, of course it's Fonsi Sebrian. So everyone, welcome please our commentators.
Thank you, Christina. Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to the 3rd race of the weekend here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Chaz Draycott here on the British commentary, and as Christina rightly mentioned there, Fonsi Sebrian on the Spanish commentary, and Joachim Eberts on German duties as well. The sun's still shining here at Autodrome Most in Czechia, and it looks like everybody's geared up for a fantastic afternoon's racing. Can it match up to what we had yesterday? Well, we'll have to wait and see how much of the shenanigans unfolds at turns 1 and 2, won't we? Just like we had in both of yesterday's races, a little bit of argy-bargy here and there. Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn started on the front row, but it was the contact between Sasha Lenz and Andre Kurzim that was the highlight of the first couple of corners. Antonio Albacete losing out on a number of positions as well. Sasha had to fight back through the pack to get past Steffi Halm after a great fight there, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez chasing down his title rival in the Chrome class, John Newell. Eventually, both would succeed in the later stages of the race, while everybody tried their best to catch back up with Norbert Kish at the sharp end. And it wasn't the final time of the day either that we'd see Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and John Newell get close to one another, as Norbert Kish took another race victory, 14 for this season, and it was his 16th podium appearance of the year. The sun stayed out for the afternoon though, and it was Antonio Albacete that took reverse grid pole position after strategically remaining in 8th position in the first race. He was hoping to get big points after a really poor turnout in the first race of the day, and of course from pole position was the best place to convert it. John Newell was hoping for the same in the Chrome class, but contact with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez out of turn 2 would put him into the gravel. Jose Eduardo eventually getting a 10-second penalty as a result. Jochen Hahn carved his way through the order and went chasing after Albacete, but would not catch him before the end, and it was the battle between Steffi Halm, Norbert Kish and Sasha Lenz that we kept our eyes on for that final podium spot. Norby eventually, after a few laps of trying, getting through into 3rd position, but he was too far away to catch our pair of race leaders, Antonio Albacete taking his 2nd win of the season and his 5th podium appearance, while Jochen Hahn knocked up his 15th podium of the year. Another great season of consistency so far from Jochen, while Mark Taylor took 2 wins in the Chrome class on the day as well. Not forgetting also that he's had his first pole of the season, then first win, and then 2nd win, all in one weekend so far. Great stuff. This is the circuit where we're doing battle this weekend though. Autodrome Most, just over 4 kilometres, 21 corners. This very tight and twisty circuit is not one of the widest on the calendar by any stretch of the imagination. Despite being in quite a steep valley as well, it's not very windy out there on the circuit today, and the drivers will be hoping that it doesn't blow any sort of poor weather conditions our way. One of the talking points every time we come to Czechia is the fact that it can rain in the blink of an eye, and it can rain an awful lot as well. Back down onto the grid though, let's catch up with Christina.
Thank you. The sun is shining, and of course, the nighttime sometimes changes for the good and sometimes for the bad. We are here at number 38, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and as you've heard, he received a 10-second penalty after an incident with John Newell. So we take you right now to race number 2, to the incident, and then we want to hear the important voice and afterwards. So those are the important scenes.
Jose Eduardo Rodriguez tries to go for second place with John Newell. Mark Taylor's had to skip across the inside of the corner. John's gone wide, and he's tipped into the gravel by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez from the front row of the grid.
What happened? We saw contact from outside. How was it from inside?
I didn't know exactly what happened at first, but now I've just watched it back. I come through turn 2, and then Jose clipped me back end and just kept the power on and just pushed me straight through into the gravel, and that was the end of the race.
After stewards reviewed video footage, Rodriguez received a 10-second penalty. The reaction?
We are not happy after we watched the video together with the stewards. From my point of view and from the team's view, it was a race incident. With that 10-second penalty, we are motivated now for the qualification, and to set a good time is our goal.
And of course, we want to know how happy he is after the qualification, and of course, after the 10-second penalty. Your father already told us that you were not quite happy with that, but right now you need to get that off your chest, of course. How do you deal with the situation?
I don't agree, because I don't understand what I have a penalization, but it is what it is, and today is a new day, and I am happy with my result in the quali, and we'll see what's up in the first corner. Is the most important for me is the first corner.
Absolutely, and everyone is trying to get to that first corner. And of course, Stefan Faas, he told me today, it's just space for one truck, but it is so important, so crucial. So how is your strategy for that first corner then?
Boarding the first corner with tranquilly, and after past the first corner, I'm focused in the race, and the result is the most important for me, and the points for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're still in the lead, so do you feel a bit comfortable with that lead?
Yeah, I feel comfortable. I like this track, and I'm happy with the results. It's important, the rhythm.
Thank you very much. And he's also improving his English interview skills. Thank you very much for that. Also quite good to hear. And it is what it is. That's also our motto, because sometimes things are running really, really good, and also broadcast sometimes, well, you know how it is. So as you can see, the trucks are open and they're trying to find some shades. If you want to follow me around a bit, because I found Mary Poppins, I think, if we talk with Mark Taylor, because he had a really, really good day yesterday, and he needs some shades here, and this is the improvement of Mr. Umbrella, under my umbrella, Ella, Mr. Poppins. So are you well protected?
Yeah, the team's really looking after me, so making sure I'm cool.
So it's absolutely heating up, and also the competition. You had a wonderful day yesterday. How are you trying to continue that journey?
I'm just hoping we'll have the same pace and the same as yesterday. No crashes, no knocked off. Just a nice, clean race.
We were talking about the first turn. This is quite a crucial situation there for all the drivers. What are your strategic maneuvers to get through that first turn?
Just stay out of trouble. No, just let everybody battle it out around me, and hopefully I'll just go round without no trouble.
Thank you very much. So standing in the shades, this is important. Oh, I should be standing here and also waiting. That sounds really, really good, Chaz, doesn't it? You need to be protected sometimes too.
Well, I don't really know, Christina. I'm in England. It's not ever really sunny, to be honest with you, so we don't need the umbrellas that much. But that's it now. You've set a new nickname for Mark Taylor for the rest of the season. Mary Poppins, indeed. He's going to be starting a bit further back in the field, of course, amongst his Chrome Championship rivals, but he's also starting alongside Steffi Halm as well, who didn't have as good a qualifying as she would have wanted. She starts in front of the Iveco and the Scania there of Louis Requenco and Heinrich Clemens Hecker. Stefan Faas is on the grid and will start from 12th position despite his issue earlier on during qualifying, which is good to see. So he's not been sort of removed from the result. I'm going to remove myself from commentary duties for just a moment there, everybody, as we're going to go quiet and welcome our international TV audience from all around the world. So we'll be back with you in just a sec.
Hello, sunshine, and welcome to the Autodrome in Mustard. Hello and warm welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Hello to our worldwide viewers. Thank you very much for the kind feedback. We really appreciate that you're writing us such kind message for our broadcast. And of course, we want to continue on a high level, as also the drivers want to continue this spectacular weekend here at the Autodrome in Most, which is a challenging track. And of course, we need to see who will get through that first turn. This is absolutely crucial. Normally there's just space for one truck. Stefan Faas pointed out to me earlier this day. But then, of course, everyone wants to get through. Of course, also José Eduardo Rodrigues, that guy in number 38 truck, and he received a 10-second penalty after an incident with John Newell yesterday in that crucial corner. And so it is, he told me, very important to stay out of trouble. So this is it for him, the strategic maneuver to get through. And then afterwards, we do see spectacular racing here at the Autodrome in Must. So excited to see everyone here on the grid. The grid walk has just finished right now. Lots of spectators also here at the beautiful countryside in Moss. So welcome everyone. We are ready, and our commentators are absolutely ready as well. And we do have 3 commentator voices for you: German, Spanish and English. So welcome to everyone.
Thank you, Christina. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third race of the weekend in the 2024 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Chaz Draycott here on English commentary duties for the weekend. And all the drivers and teams, as you can see, really enjoying the sunshine so far here at Most. It makes quite the difference as per the last few seasons when we've been here, and it's either been gloomy and very humid or absolutely, as we say, leathering it down. We'll have a look at the circuit itself, though. It's a very unique circuit on this calendar. We love coming here to Czechia and to Most. This circuit has 21 corners, lots of opportunities for overtaking, but in the trucks, maybe not so much. Because of how wide they are and how narrow this circuit is, the drivers have to be absolutely on it everywhere. There is no room for any mistakes around a track like this. The tight and twisty section on the left-hand side of the track map there is a real pinch point. Turn 10 in particular, very, very hard braking zone. And of course, they have to carry the momentum all the way back down the hill in towards the final couple of corners. You will see moves into turns 20 and 21. We often get drivers out braking each other a lot into there. We had an amazing 3-wide finish a few seasons ago between the likes of Lucas Hahn, Jamie Anderson and Adam Lachko. A shame really, because none of those 3 drivers are actually on our grid today. We do miss each of them being on our grid. We've had Lucas Hahn for a little bit of this season. He's been a race-by-race entrant a couple of times. Adam Lachko not racing with us anymore in the championship, unfortunately, and the amazing Goodyear Freightliners that we used to see. And Jamie Anderson working on the business back home in the UK. Here's your grid, though, for the third race of the weekend. Norbert Kirsch on pole position with a 2:01.263, faster than the current race lap record as well. So definitely putting a decent time down in qualifying there to set the mark. Jochen Hahn will start alongside him once again. I think, just having a look back, that is the 8th time this season they're going to start on the front row together. They've got Antonio Albacetti and Sasha Lenz taking up row 2. Andre Kurzim only 1 place back from where he qualified yesterday, with José Eduardo Rodrigues leading the Chrome drivers. Mark Taylor and Steffi Halmer then on row 4, ahead of Clemens Hecker and Louis Requenco, who round out the 5th row of the grid in 9th and 10th. Then we have John Newell, Stefan Faas and Bradley Smith. And we're going to go back down to the grid itself now with Christina, who's got another quick interview for us.
Absolutely. If you're looking too much into the sun, maybe you've got lilac spots on your eyelids, but this is Mr. Lenz right now. Oh, wow, this was a kind of introduction. So how do you feel ahead of this race? Are you heating up for example, the first turn, which should be very, very interesting, that all of you might get through that safe, hopefully?
You know, the qualifying, the Q3 was not so nice for my side. I make a small mistake and the time lap was, yeah, shit. But now we have a race, you know, and a race is a race, and I hope we have no accident or anything in the first chicane, and then we will see.
What are you hoping for? Because you're racing constantly this season, but of course we do see Jochen Hahn. This is a quite fierce battle in between you.
No, I think we have not a battle with Jochen, we have a battle with Antonio. He's really close to us, so for me it's important that when he is on the front for me, that nobody is in the middle, so that I lose not so many points. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. very much. Last impressions here, and we're ready to race and see spectacular racing here at the Autodrome in Most. Let's get started.
Apologies again there, everybody, for Sasha's language, but we love it from him by now. He always says it how it is, doesn't he? And at the end of the day, a while ago, I think I was at Brands Hatch with him at the end of 2022, he pointed out to me that he'd learned English from John Newell and his mechanics, so you can blame John for that one. But again, fantastic entertainment as always from Sasha. He's always brilliant to have for an interview because, like I say, just tells us exactly how it is. He wears his heart on his sleeve with his racing as well. He's very passionate about what he does. And he drives this beautiful purple and green machine. The number 3 Apollo Tyres branded SL Truck Sport 30 machine matches the bright green of the HVO 100% renewable Total Energies 5th wheel on the truck as well, as you could see there. Something that's divided opinion amongst the paddock. Norbert Kish not even in the truck yet, actually. Just getting inside Big Baloo, the MAN. You can see Franz Stahlberg from the FIA there just supervising, making sure he's ready to go. Tony Idden keeping an eye on things as well. And I believe Michael Marek was there in the background as well, the race director. Michael, the one keeping an eye on just about everything all of the time. He's at the very front of the field, down there with the pace truck. And speaking of, we've got the official truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship making its way around, which is the Ford F-Max. Back in 2019, this was the International Truck of the Year, designed and tested by over 500 Ford engineers over a 5-year period. And we use it for our inspection laps just to make sure there's nothing on the circuit, no spillages, no debris, nothing that could cause the race to either be delayed or obviously even restarted once we get things underway. We have the delightful May Fisher driving the truck around for the weekend once again. She's been a fantastic addition to the paddock, always great fun to work with, and she really does enjoy driving the official truck of the championship around. We have this one and a bluer example as well. I say bluer as if orange has got any blue in it at all. But we have the orange one and the blue one in the paddock, and if you ever attend any of our races, you'll see them both on display around the fan village and often on the circuit as well, as the official truck does laps over the course of the weekend. Does give you a good idea as well of the difference between a road-going truck like this and our race trucks as well, in terms of how they can handle different elements of the circuit and just what the performance difference is like. But we thank Ford Trucks once again for everything, for being a partner of the championship for all this time and providing us with these two fantastic F-Maxes that you can see on the road for yourselves as well, all around the world. Thank you to my colleague Alice, by the way, who has confirmed that you can have an orangey blue, apparently. You can have orange with a tint of blue in it. Just trying to justify my awful commentary. Thank you, Alice. Much appreciated. As the teams and personnel make their way back into the pit lane, you can see the team from Tankpool 24, the NWT Motorsport team as well. And a lot of the race engineers will then go and stand behind the pit wall and the other side of the pit lane, basically, to keep an eye on the lights for the start of the race. We had a great interview yesterday with Steffi Halm, where she mentioned that as a driver, you can't always see the start-finish line lights from further back in the pack, so it's important to have the engineer there ready to shout down your ear and tell you basically now is the time to go. You can see Rolf Werner there on the grass, just keeping one final watchful eye over everything. I think I've mentioned before that he's the only man I've ever seen retire but then still work and just carry on. He just never stops, does Rolf. He loves the championship, he loves being a part of it all, and it's great to have him still around. He does enjoy taking the mick out of me on many an occasion, though, whenever we have a beer. I'm sure that he's looking forward to a bit more of that, hopefully at Le Mans and Jarama for the remainder of the season. May brings the official truck back into the pit lane then. Not sure if that was her sounding the horn or one of the many trucks that are around the sort of perimeter here. A lot of the fans and people involved have brought show trucks and all sorts to display around the circuit. There's a great convoy involved in an event like this. But that means that the grid any moment now will be cleared. The 1 minute board went out not long ago. And all the personnel are now off the grid. And the trucks are the only things there ready to go for what will be round number 19 of the 2024 season. 28 races planned. We still have 8 more to go after today's action is complete. We'll be at Le Mans in France in about 3 weeks' time. And then we go to Jarama literally a week later. Back-to-back race meetings to complete the season is always good fun. And Jarama has a real party atmosphere about it at the end of the campaign. So Frank the Tank pulls away in the Iveco S-Way, the Bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way, and Norbert Kish will lead the field down towards turn 1 for the formation lap here in the third race of the weekend. Once again, him and Jochen Hahn on the front row of the grid. He shared the front row with only two other drivers this season actually. Antonio Albacete and Sascha Lenz so far this season. As mentioned, the Bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way is the official pace truck of the championship. With it being Bio-LNG, it can remove up to 95% of the emissions, and as a driver you don't notice any difference in the power and torque delivery, and in terms of how you operate the vehicle as well, it is pretty much as it is. Great bit of kit though. Been out on many a lap with Frank in that machine. Remember the first time I ever went around Misano and it scared the living daylights out of me. I think my backpack ended up nearly going out the window. Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn though on the front row of the grid once again for this season, with Antonio Albacete alongside Sascha Lenz on the second row. As you could hear from Sascha, he wasn't too impressed with his own qualifying performance. He couldn't quite get that second lap improved, so he's going to want to take positions early on here. Andre Kurzim lines up in 5th place with Chrome leader Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on the third row with him. Great stuff from Jose Eduardo to get through into that final session. Mark Taylor starts 7th. He's had a great weekend so far. He's hoping to continue with that. Steffi Halm will start alongside him on the 4th row. She's going to want to move forward and get amongst the rest of the Titan class drivers at the sharp end of the field. Next up is Heinrich Clemens-Hecker and Louis Requenco. They complete the top 10 drivers in the Scania and Iveco respectively. Then it's John Newell and Stefan Faas. Stefan will also be wanting to get some big points from this race, especially in that Chrome class, starting from quite far down the order. Bradley Smith starts in 13th place. He's on his own on that back row of the grid, but he's got a fantastic viewpoint here for any of the shenanigans that go on at the front end of the order. He's got more chance to avoid things and make up places as a result. They're just heading now down to turn 15. Long right-hander underneath the huge bridge that's here at Most. It's a very interesting viewpoint of the circuit actually from there, because when you look at it from the start-finish straight, it looks like turn 15 just backs straight into the paddock, but it's actually a long old way from the end of the lap. It's one of the best things about this circuit though, because it's such a long and narrow circuit. It's almost like a karting circuit in some ways, because you can see so much of it from one individual sort of vantage point. It's great for spectators. They all love all the grassy banks around the edge of the track here. You get such a natural view of it. And the scenery around is gorgeous as well. It's very well located here in Czechia. Very beautiful country indeed. You can see the medical car there just being towered over by our huge racing trucks. It's always interesting to see. There was a very entertaining moment a few seasons ago where the pace truck was used for an LMP3 race at the Nürburgring, and it really gave you an idea in the difference of size. So our front row once again then, Norbert Kish alongside Jochen Hahn. 11 championship titles between the pair of them. Norby hoping to complete that as 12, so it's 6 apiece this season. Let's see what he can do today. The lights are out and we're underway for round 19 of the championship. And Norby keeps it tidy to the inside line. Looks like Mark Taylor's got a good getaway, actually, from the right-hand side. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez doesn't get moving too well on that outside line. Hard onto the brakes into turn 1 for the first time. Jochen tries to stay alongside Norby. Doesn't work for him. There's a bit of a bump, though, from Antonio to the back of Jochen's number 2 machine. Penalty marker goes flying. Andre Kurzim runs a little bit wide as well. I think he's just about got away with that. Looks like contact there between John Newell and Stefan Faas as they lean on each other out of turn 1. It seems like everything was okay. That's one of the best things about truck racing. You can get away with a lot of contact and carry on. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is trying to make moves with Andre Kurzim in there as well, though they're side by side, and he's completely sideways through the right-hander at turn 7. Somehow collects it back up and even gains ground over Andre in the meantime. He holds on to 5th place then as a result into turn 10. Quite a lot of smoke coming from one of the trucks there. I think maybe Stefan Faas a little bit further back. Hopefully no reliability issues for him, especially after the debacle of this morning's qualifying session. But it's Norbert Kish, 6/10 to the good now over Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz. Quite a gap forming actually between Sascha and Jochen. Obviously Sascha gaining a place off the start there after a little bit of contact side by side with Antonio Albacete. He's gone deep into turn 15 though, And that leaves him open to attack here. He just tucks it in on the apex of 16, but look how close Antonio is to the back of him. There's another benefit of truck racing is where the windscreen is you know that's basically the very front of the vehicle as well, so you don't have to worry about how long the nose of your racing machine is. Sasha Lenz doesn't worry about how sturdy the penalty markers are either by the look of it, as he absolutely smacks them into oblivion on the exit of turn 17. They are long gone and out of here. There's no question over whether that's a track limits violation or not, but that's why they're there. They are supposed to last an entire race, though, never mind half a lap. But it is what it is. Antonio Albacete now tucks in behind him, but as you've seen before, they don't have to get into the slipstream here. It's not about trying to get the slipstream and run past your opponent down the straight. They get to 100 miles an hour, 160 Ks, and then they have to just back out of it, basically, and just hold it at 100 miles an hour. It's part of the art form of truck racing, is that for the standards of safety, we cannot exceed 100 miles an hour. So the drivers all fan out down the start-finish straight and get that cool air on the front of the truck rather than sitting behind in the hot, dirty air of the truck ahead. There's 4 of them glued together here, though, as Andre Kurzim is now right up behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. These guys trying to take advantage of any further mistakes by Sasha. He got through at the very first corner, but since then, he's sort of fallen away a little bit. He's 2 seconds off the back of Jochen Hahn already. Maybe just trying to hold on to a podium place here. He wants to extend the slight gap that he has over Antonio Albacete in the championship. It's just 10 points right now. Sasha on 149, Antonio on 139. Behind them, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez continues to lead in the Chrome class. Andre Kurzim's wanting more points as well. He's trying to close down the gap to Steffi Halm. There's 16 points between those two drivers, so they're close together, but really, Kurzim needs to look behind him in terms of championship points, because Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who is the truck, well, I was going to say right in front of him on the circuit, but he's now ended up next to him with that move through turn 15. He's actually just slotted back in front. Only just, though. But there's only 2 points between the pair of them in the championship, after Andre had a bit of a tough time in race 1 yesterday, only finishing 10th after qualifying 4th. Jose Eduardo has gained a number of points on him. Louis Requenco having a bit of a tough time there, actually. He's lost ground to John Newell. They've got Bradley Smith in the picture as well. He'll want to make a move at the earliest convenience. Steffi Halm hasn't managed to get past Mark Taylor either just yet. Taylor's holding on to 7th place. Steffi will be on reverse grid pole position, though, if it stays this way. There's still a long way left to go. We start the 3rd lap of the race then. The lap counter in the top left doesn't seem to have moved, which is strange. We're definitely not on lap 0 anymore. As Antonio has just looked down the inside into turn 1, Sasha Lenz leaves the door open, tries to take a wider line. I think there was a little bit of a touch partway through the corner. Antonio slots back in. But Sasha bolts it from the exit as well, really gets going. He's opened up a few truck lengths over him there. Jose Eduardo not able to close in at that point. Just in the background of shot as well, you can see the 2 Scanias, the teammates as Sweden Power, which is Heinrich Clemens Hecker and Stefan Faas. Stefan wanting to move forward after only qualifying 12th due to his steering failure earlier on. If you watched our qualifying stream as well, you'd have seen Christina interview Steffi Halm. She mentioned a steering problem earlier on today. There was a massive issue with the quick release of the steering wheel, and she went into a corner literally with the steering wheel almost coming off in her hands, which is not really what you want, to say the least. We've had a penalty marker warning for Antonio Albacete in turn 1. I think that may have just been literally a moment ago as they started this lap, because he did seem to be really far down the inside of Sasha Lenz into that chicane. But one of the issues for the drivers is that when the penalty markers have been hit early on and they're knocked away from the circuit, you then can't see where the track limits are effectively, because that's what we use as our black and white markers for it, as one of them gets absolutely flattened there by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. They're basically like, they're almost 6 foot tall, those penalty markers, just for reference. But they're almost like a hollow foam that gets plugged into the ground in the curbs. There's a lot of circuits all around the world that are equipped with curbs that can mount them. So they're not small bits of kit, but they can easily get whacked about. I remember first seeing one in person at Misano back in 2021 and not quite realising how big they were, but obviously these trucks are huge bits of kit. So when you see them relative to one another, it's pretty impressive. You will often see marshals chasing them down the road, as when they do get knocked out of the ground, they tend to roll down the circuit and the marshals have to go chasing them to put them in before the trucks come back round again. But you don't really want to be on a live racing circuit when there's trucks coming at you. It's not quite a comfortable place to be. Doesn't seem like quite a comfortable place to be right now if you're Sasha Lenz either. He can't seem to streak away from Antonio Albacete. There is half a second there, but he's not got away as much as you would have expected with the pace difference that we'd seen before. Antonio quicker in qualifying this time round. Sasha wasn't able to put a lap together. Maybe now it's the sort of pace that he was expecting to put out during that session. Mark Taylor still holding on to second in the Chrome class. He's got a truck between himself and Heinrich Clemens Hecker as well, in the form of Steffi Halm, who's still in 8th. Norbert Kish isn't really getting that far ahead of Jochen Hahn either, as there's a move there. Was that Stefan Faas down in 12th position? Yeah, Stefan's dropped away from his teammate Clemens Hecker. He's also dropped behind John Newell and Louis Requenco. He's now also off the circuit as well, having a big old wobble there through the right-hander at turn 13. Is there a problem for Stefan Faas? Is this truck yet again causing an issue for him? They've had horrendous reliability with this machine, unfortunately, and doesn't seem to be improving this time round. But look at this battle for the lead here. Jochen Hahn very much with Norbert Kish. And with absolutely zero disrespect intended to Jochen, normally it's Norby streaking off into the distance in race 1 of the day. But Jochen this time round, sticking with the 5-time champion. 2:02.633 for Norbert Kish, 2:02.621 for Jochen Hahn. Actually, no, Norby did a 2:02.7, so Jochen was a tenth of a second quicker than him that time round. The fastest laps of the race are 2:02.6s. That was Jochen's fastest lap as well. Norby's only a tenth of a second off his, surely, but that's only a tenth of a second slower than Jochen. Still, regardless of the difference, it's slower. That's the fact of the matter. And Jochen seemingly fired up here for this one to try and take a victory away. I'm just having a scan through the results now to see if there's a single race 1 or 3 this season that Norbert hasn't won. And no, there isn't. 14 race victories so far, 17 podium appearances out of 18 races. Talk about dominance. It was round 16 of the championship, the 4th race at the Nürburgring, where Norby wasn't on the podium. And Jochen is trying to take away a victory. Was there a little bit of smoke coming from the number 1 machine just there? Not necessarily black smoke as the sort of diesel smoke that the observers look for. Was there a bit of white smoke on the right-hand side? That would signify something to do with the turbocharger. Maybe a sort of bluey white smoke could be more oil-related, which could be a problem. Baloo doesn't really let Norby down. There was an electrical issue at the start of last season at Misano when he was retiring from the lead in the very first race of the championship. He had to spend a few rounds then recuperating the points back from Jochen Hahn. Let's see what the lap times are this time round. This is sort of unprecedented fight here at the front, as there's a very unprecedented fight further down. Stefan Faas seemingly back up to pace now. It looks like the tyres are all light brown. He's definitely been through the gravel or had an off somewhere around the circuit. So that front right tyre is not factory new, I can tell you that. He's actually got his nose down the inside of Louis Requenco now, nearly makes a bit of contact. Louis just leaving the room on the outside. They nearly touched through turn 21. Can Stefan get the run? Yes, he can. You can just see that bodywork pushed in a little bit there on the right-hand side. But then this is the stalemate. They go down the straight, they get to 100 miles an hour, and then that's that. They remain in flying formation down towards turn 1. Is Stefan going to outbrake Louis into turn 1? He is. He's going to go late on the brakes, down the inside. Turns in really late, actually. Just about makes it. Good respect there from Louis Requenco. He could have easily turned in on him there and caused contact. And he didn't. He just said, nope, stuff that. I don't really want to turn into the side of another truck, thank you. Stefan just went a little bit hot on the brakes, but it was the decisive manoeuvre in the end. Gets him back up into 11th place. At this stage, that puts him back in 5th position in class, and that's not where he wants to be if he wants to get chasing the Portuguese driver José Eduardo Rodrigues in the Chrome Championship. we've had a penalty marker warning for Norbert Kish at turn 13, which is the right-hander down the bottom of the hill. It's not often that we see that from Norby, as Steffi Halm now still trying to get past Mark Taylor. This is the battle for 7th place. If these two stay where they are, though, they'll be on the front row of the grid for race 4 of the weekend later on this afternoon. Our broadcast for that starting at 25 past 4 local time to Most, 25 past 3 if you're watching in the UK. But Mark Taylor now looking like he'll have to defend here. He has to think about overall championship points. But at the same time, the priority is probably going to be Chrome Championship points here. If he lets Steffi through, he's not going to lose any points at all compared to his Chrome rivals around him. Heinrich Clemens Hecker still next up, but he's a good 4 seconds back now. We're on to the 7th lap of the race. 6 of them completed into the second half now. This 11-lap race. The 19th round of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship here in 2024. Not as much drama through the first couple of corners this time round. I know that Jochen yesterday was saying that it's almost a given. We've had a number of trucks get warned for the penalty markers down at turn 2, numbers 18, 64, and the message has just disappeared off my screen. But that so far is John Newell and Louis Requenco. It's down at turn 13, I do apologise, not turn 1. So while they may not have been clean with the track limits at this point, they're definitely clean due to the 100% renewable HVO diesel that they run on. Thank you very much, Patrick. Graphics guy at Viga absolutely loves those segues, as I mentioned before. The other penalty markers at turn 2 are for Louis Requenco and Bradley Smith, trucks 64 and 33. Those warnings have come through. And also for Stefan Faas now as well. Seems like Daria is very busy in race control with all of these warnings coming through. I think there's another one as well at the moment, and it's Stefan Faas actually for turn 13, so that's his second penalty marker warning. So if he gets a third one, he may end up with a penalty, so he'll have to be careful with that. You can see the penalty marker's been absolutely battered out of the way of the circuit there. But Norbert Kish still leads. He was just under 1/10 of a second quicker than Jochen Hahn in that last lap. They both did 2:02.7s. It was a 7:08 for Norby and a 7:80 for Jochen Hahn. Looks like Jochen might have the edge here as well. He's 1/10 of a second quicker in the middle sector. They're really close on lap times, though. I'm intrigued to see how close this final sector is as well. The last sector alone was a 50.3. Yeah, they've literally matched each other to 1/10. Jochen Hahn about 0.5 of a second quicker on that lap. So they are almost in a complete stalemate here in terms of their pace. Not quite sure what this change is, whether it's something that Jochen's improved or whether there's something that Norby has gone the wrong way with on the setup for this race. It is hotter than usual here in Czechia for this weekend, so maybe just the degradation of the tyres not quite as they would have expected. Maybe Norby used them up a little bit early on. Goodyear have brought a fantastic new harder compound to the championship this year. It's a lot more durable in the dry races, but it's also so much more capable in wet weather conditions as well, while not really sacrificing any durability. And let's not forget, a lot of these tyres get retreaded, used for road trucks as well outside of the championship. And my colleague Andreas has rightly pointed out that trucks 18, 33 and 24, which is John Newell, Bradley Smith and Stefan Faas, are all on 2 penalty marker warnings now. So if they get another one, it'll be a drive-through penalty. It's not even just a 10-second warning or a 10-second addition to their time. They will get drive-throughs. So for all 3 of them, that would be completely race changing. And in the smaller pack that we have with the Chrome class drivers, we have 7 of them here this weekend. A drive-through penalty will definitely throw you to the back of that. Bradley Smith is only 3 seconds behind Louis Requenco, so there's not really much daylight between any of them in the Chrome class. This is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, currently in 5th place. Andrei Kurzim just behind him in the Iveco. Very interestingly designed front end of that Iveco. It's almost terrifying to look at. He's actually trying to go late down the inside, but look, Jose Eduardo says, no, I'm not going to bother fighting this too hard because I know that I'm leading the Chrome class and I don't need to worry about my championship points in that regard. A bit of door-to-door contact still between the two of them, though. Is Andre going to run him out of room? No, he slides across the front of him, then moves all the way over to the right-hand side down the start-finish straight. Not quite sure if that's out of defence or whether that's just clean air for Andre. A little bit of bodywork missing on the front left of that Iveco at this point. Moves back over to the left now, hard onto the brakes, into the chicane. And Jose Eduardo, like I say, in the grand scheme of things, hasn't lost anything there by giving that position up. Maybe 2 championship points overall, but his priority this season is not the overall championship. He knows that he'd have to work mighty, mighty hard to get anywhere near the likes of Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish. It's more the Chrome categorisation that he wants to aim for the top honours in. Mark Taylor there still holding on in front of Steffi Halm. They've had great pace this weekend of the Taylor's Truck Sport Racing team. Mark was straight out of the blocks with a fantastic pole positioning class in qualifying, getting right up there inside the top 10. Then he went on to take 2 race victories yesterday in rounds 17 and 18. Had to work very hard for that first race win in 17 though, because of having to defend from the likes of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez behind, who was fighting with John Newell as well. But so far, Norbert Kish not moving away at the front, which is very interesting to see. He's moved forward with Jochen, though. They're 8.4 seconds clear of Sascha Lenz at this stage. So Sascha is of no threat to them. He's also not really under threat massively from Antonio Albacete. There's about 2 seconds between those. Then we've got these duos forming. We've got Kurzim and Rodriguez right together. And then we've got Taylor and Halm with one another on the circuit. Heinrich Clementecker's having a bit of a lonely race. He's 9th at the moment. He's 8 seconds off these trucks. And then he's got 4 seconds over John Newell. But he's on his way to another podium in class as well, which he'll be happy with. He inherited one yesterday afternoon after the penalty for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Not quite sure what they do in regards to trophies there. I remember seeing it many years ago in Formula One where there was a decision changed around and there was a big presentation from, I think it was Kimi Räikkönen to Giancarlo Fisichella. I know it was. It was the 2003 Brazilian Grand Prix where the result was reversed. And it was Fisichella that was presented the trophy at the San Marino Grand Prix by Kimi Räikkönen. I don't think they quite make as much of a song and dance about it as they do in trucks. So I think it'll just be a case of Jose will just go over and give him the trophy and say, here you are, sunshine. But still, I'll have to find out on that regard. I wonder if there's anybody I can send around in the paddock to go and ask what the procedure is there. Whether they get to keep the silverware or not. I wouldn't have thought they did. But we'll see. Mark Taylor, though, staying in front of Steffi Halm at the moment, doing a great job here in the MAN. The Iveco not quite able to find its way past at this present moment, but I don't think Steffi will worry too much with the potential of pole position coming up in the next race. A reminder there that the championship earlier this season was awarded with the FIA 3-star Environmental Accreditation Award after all the hard work between all of the amazing personnel behind the scenes at the ETRA involved in the ETRC for bringing the championship forward in such a way. The HVO diesel has been one of the key steps forward, as well as our bio-LNG powered pace truck as well. And there's a lot of support for the electric trucks in the paddock as well. Let's not forget about the Iveco e-truck, the racing e-truck that Jochen Hahn and Team Hahn Racing have developed with Iveco. It's been on display at a number of rounds of the championship. It did some demonstration laps back at the Nürburgring in the middle of July, which was really cool to see. I think it was back at Misano earlier on in the season. It was just a demonstrator at that point, but it is fully functional and it does work. And Jochen put it through its paces at the German circuit in front of all of the crowd. We're on to the final lap then, here in round number 19 of the championship. And Mark Taylor and Steffi Halm still right together here. I'm having apparently my elephant memory complimented for knowing about the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2003. It's only because I watched it 100,000 times on DVD, to be honest with you. But we've got Norbert Kish still in front. Jochen Hahn not quite able to get through yet. He's lost a couple of tenths of a second on that previous lap. but he's not falling away massively here. I wonder whether there's a final flurry in the last moments from Jochen Hahn here, or whether Norby's just done enough to hold on. As Steffi Halm has a bit of a lock up there into turn 7. Has to really correct that, and I think that has afforded Mark Taylor a lot of safety on this final lap then, to hold on to 7th position. Suddenly the pressure is gone from losing that overall spot, and Mark is going to just continue on his way to 2nd place in the Chrome class. He'll also be 2nd on the grid for the later race as well. But Norbert Kish, here he is on screen now with Jochen Hahn just behind him. The gap has come down again by another 1/10 of a second. Not quite sure if there's some sort of issue with the truck or what, but definitely been a step up here by Jochen Hahn to keep Norby on his toes. It'll be great to hear from both of them at the end of this one and see what is different. Because this isn't normal proceedings, it's safe to say, with no disrespect to anybody else. Norby usually the one that just disappears off at the front. Jochen has kept him on his toes throughout this one, all the way to the end, but it's not going to be enough. And as they head out of the final corner, it's win number 15 of the season for Norbert Kish. Jochen Hahn takes his 16th podium appearance of the year, but only half a second separating them at the flag there. And there's drifting round the final corner from Sascha Lenz as he manages to recuperate a podium. That puts him into double digits for 2024. His 10th podium appearance. Antonio Albacete next up ahead of Andrei Kurzim in 5th place. And then a win in the category for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Mark Taylor takes 2nd place in Chrome. Steffi Halm is next up. Only 3 points to Steffi there. She'll have wanted more from that race. Heinrich Clemens Hecker gets 2 championship points overall as well. And John Newell makes it into the top 10 to score overall points as well. But Norbert Kish, another race victory. Seemingly had to work a little bit harder for that one, though, than he had to in yesterday's race. Jochen Hahn taking 2nd position. Another great bit of consistency from Jochen. He's never too far away, is he? Heinrich Clemens Hecker getting a podium as well in the Chrome class, behind the likes of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Mark Taylor. Hungarian flags fly on the banks for Norby. We get a lot of the Hungarian fans make the trip over to Czechia for this round of the championship, similar to what we get in the Slovakia ring as well. A huge turnout of Norby's fans at that round in particular. There is your Chrome class winner, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, putting behind him a difficult day yesterday. Mark Taylor continues a great weekend for them, though. 2 race victories and a 2nd place so far here in Most. And then Heinrich Clemens Hecker back on the podium again. Not sure if he'll fit under the awning. He is about 9'7", is Heinrich Clemens Hecker. Just trying to see how many podiums that is for him as well this season, actually. That's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's 9th win of the year. Mark Taylor's 12th podium. Clemens Hecker's 5th podium of the campaign. That now puts him not quite on equal points with Louis Requenco. Where did Louis finish in that one? So Newell finished 4th in class, which gives him 10 championship points. Stefan Faas was next up. He gets 8 for his troubles. Louis Requenco will get 6 points for that one. Bradley Smith scoring 4, finishing 13th overall, so the whole field completes the race. That now means that there's only 6 points between Louis Requenco and Heinrich Clemens Hecker in the Chrome class. Louis now moves on to 105 points. He's tied with Lucas Hahn, who unfortunately is not racing with us for the rest of the season. Like I mentioned earlier, he was just a race-by-race entrant. Certainly made his mark on the campaign, though, doing a great job, as ever, racing alongside his father, Jochen. You can hear a lot of the truck horns blasting in the background there with the convoy around the circuit. And Norbert Kish makes his way into the paddock now, in front of Jochen Hahn. To be fair, that gap between them now as they make their way into the pit lane is probably the biggest gap they've had all race. Norby guided into the paddock and the waiting area there by Janine Meyer. Jochen parking alongside him on the left. And Sascha Lenz will be really pleased with that podium because he had to work for that one to get past Antonio and then defend in the early stages as well, make sure that he stayed ahead. And then eventually opened up enough of a gap. I think the gap in the end was 1.9 seconds between Lenz and Albacete. Fastest lap of that was a 2:03.2 by Sascha Lenz. The 2 trucks in front, Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn, did 2:02.6s apiece. Actually, fastest lap of the race was by Jochen Hahn as well, 2:02.621. So he was definitely the pace setter there. Not quite sure, like I say, what was different in particular about that race. Sascha Lenz with a big thumbs up. He'll be pleased with that. You could tell just how sort of dejected by qualifying he was earlier when we spoke to him on the grid. And there is our Chrome class winner, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Mark Taylor once again, more big points for him in his championship. And then Heinrich Clemens-Hecker back on the podium once again. He may have inherited the podium yesterday, so we didn't actually see him stand up there. As there's a congratulations from Norby and Jochen. They discuss what happened in that race. And speaking with Diana Hahn as well. Congratulations from Stefan Honens. But I was going to mention that Heinrich Clemens-Hecker's last podium appearance was the final race of the weekend in Zolder in Belgium. And then before that, he got 2 podiums on the first day of the season back at Misano in May. Long, long time ago now. Norby talking to Csaba Bako there, the team manager at Revège, chief engineer. I think just explaining something that had gone on. He pointed to the front left corner of the truck. And with this circuit being clockwise as well, it's very important that you have a decent amount of load going through that front left tyre. So out of all the corners, that's not the one where you want any issues. Mark Taylor climbs out of truck 81. Let's go and speak to the team. There's Bernard Moritz, the photographer. Always uploading great pictures of his adventures around the weekend with the championship. Norby probably a little bit relieved after that one as he was chased right to the flag by Jochen Hahn. Jochen probably very excited by that one. We'll have to see if we can speak to him a little bit later. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez informed about heading over to the podium. He has a quick debrief with the team to see what was the situation there between those guys. Norby gives a congratulations to Mark Taylor and likewise as well. And as you can see there, we're about to get an interview with the man himself, with Norbert Kisch. Christina is down there with our race winner.
Yes, we opened the door and we do see the race winner here, and there was one gesture from you, which was this. How close was it to Jochen Hahn?
Yeah, he did a good job, I think, because he improved a lot compared to yesterday, I think. And the pace was really, really fast the whole race, because I think we were doing 02 mid. I don't think we even did a 03 in the whole race, you know, I think, which is a very, very fast pace. And he was following me the whole race very close, so, you know, I had to really, put myself on the track to the limit and try to stay, you know, in front, you know, with a little bit of a gap that he cannot try overtaking maneuver or something like that. And fortunately he couldn't get, you know, just close enough to try something. And then, in the last 2 laps, you know, maybe I give him a tenth or 2, you know, so it was a bit safe in the last bit safer in the last 2 laps than in the middle of the race or something. But, you know, I mean, it's Jochen Hahn, you know, so you can never count him out, you know, so he did a really good job today, and it was really, really difficult to stay in front.
Yeah, thank you very much. You made it interesting for us. Thank you. Say it positive. Say it positive. We have a walk then together. We're going to join you at the podium. You know the way, I suppose.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like 15th win of him. So we try to find Jochen Hahn there and get back to Chaz soon.
I love that subtlety there from Norbert Kisch. I've been there a couple of times. I love that. I love those just the little moments like that. It's fantastic. But yeah, great to see that it was just down to raw pace. I mean, the pair of them were absolutely flying through that race. At the end, they both did 2:02.8s and they did 2:02.6s as their fastest laps each. Let's hear from the other side of the story now with Jochen Hahn, shall we?
Yes, we hear the other side of the story with Jochen Hahn, because it was so close, that battle in between you and Norbert Kisch. Right now he's in the front, was also on the way to the podium, but I suppose he's listening. But what do you say? How close was it? And you've made a really good race.
No, it is close, but I don't know he have really a technical problem or not, or he play with me. So, but I think on this race we are on the same level. And we have a fight for the win, yes. And you know, you sit in the truck and you feel, oh, shit, it's possible. then you push and you push and you push. And when I look to my lap times, each lap it's more than a half second faster than yesterday. So it means we improve. But also you improve your head, you know.
I just missed the
I go the other way. But you know, you improve also your head in this moment. It's like a motivation. It's like a thank you. It's a thank you to the team, to all walls. You know, it's a little bit mental. Sometimes, not every time it's the track or the technique. I'm very proud. It's a good show. It's a good fight. And sure, the day will become, and he make a mistake.
I almost made one here by stumbling through.
But it will become.
Absolutely. When was the moment when you saw, did you make a really concrete attempt, and when was it?
No, I see I can beat him on the brakes, so maybe he have not really a good front tire or the wrong pressure, or you have a valve broken, something like this, I don't know. But I'm faster on the turn in and he's faster on the acceleration, from the traction, from the shifting point, and you know, he must walk on the front, we must walk on the traction, whatever, power, traction, all to go out of the corner. Also the style, for sure. And then maybe we again on the same level, but we can improve, for sure.
Thank you very much. It's been a spectacular race, and in style we're going to see you like now walking onto the stage and onto the podium, followed the ceremony and with your commentators. And first we're going to have a look at the overall results with our commentators.
Thank you, Christina. Great stuff as always to chat to our lead drivers. Norbert Kish takes the win, 11 laps completed, just 0.6 of a second over Jochen Hahn. Fantastic stuff to see them fighting to the end, with Sascha Lenz in third place after starting fourth. Antonio Albacete ends up in fourth place ahead of Andrei Kursim, who was just in front of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He takes the win in the Chrome class over Mark Taylor. Steffi Helm finishes in 8th and will, of course, be on pole position for the 4th race of the weekend a little bit later on this afternoon. Then we have Heinrich Clemens-Hecker and John Newell, Stefan Faas, Louis Requenco and Bradley Smith completing the field. A very busy race once again, though. Lots going on, loads of battles all over the place. And here is just to confirm the Chrome result on top of that. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez wins in class ahead of Mark Taylor, with Heinrich Clemens-Hecker getting his 5th podium of the season. John Newell finishes in 4th place ahead of Stefan Faas and Louis Requenco, with Bradley Smith in 7th position. Now we'll move down to the podium and we'll get the reaction as the drivers receive their trophies for their top 3 finishing positions. You can see a number of the fans, members of the team and media down there as well. Just caught a glimpse there of the wonderful Torsten Kelterborn, one of the project managers at Wiege, the guys that make these broadcasts happen behind the scenes. Big shout out to everybody back at Neumarkt as well in Germany, managing everything and making my life as easy as it is as a commentator here. It's a fantastic team to work with and a great team effort over the course of these weekends. And we have our podium announcer making sure that everybody is aware and ready. Steve Miller there from Apollo giving a congratulations to Norby. Sascha Lenz makes his way up to the podium, 3rd place for him. He'll be really pleased with that one. It's always a good race when you finish ahead of where you started. A round of applause for 2nd place finisher Jochen Hahn, who makes his way up to the podium for the 3rd time this weekend, 3 second places. He's currently on a streak of podiums that is 11 podiums for Jochen Hahn so far. And then Norbert Kish makes his way up as the race winner once again. 2 hats at the same time for Norbert Kish. Now the trophies will be brought out for the drivers. First off, 3rd place for Sascha Lenz. He raises the trophy skyward. Big smile on his face for that one. 2nd place for Jochen Hahn. Almost a win for Jochen in that race. He would have been over the moon with that. But still, he'll be happy with 2nd position. And then our winning driver for round 19 of the 2024 season, Norbert Kish. As mentioned, his 15th win of the season now extends his championship lead to 64 points. And we'll now have the national anthem of Hungary for our race winning driver. And there we go. Hungarian national anthem. Not sure if you lot could hear it from here, but it's quite a while away from where our microphone is, unfortunately, so we don't always get the sound come through for that. But you don't need me to justify that again for this weekend. Now, top three on the podium. These guys have shared so many podiums together this season. I'm counting, as you can tell, at the moment. That's the 8th time we've had those three drivers together on the podium this year. There you go. There's a reason that I keep these spreadsheets. Shout out as well to Joachim Eberts, EB as we call him. He has something that we call the EB system behind the scenes, which is all of the results and things from the history of the championship, all kept together in working order. And it helps us with our statistics over the course of the year. Champagne for our top three. They spray everybody down there in the media pen. And later on they'll be spraying one another with the champagne. Races 2 and 4 usually the ones where they soak each other. I'll take this moment as well to apologise for Jochen Hahn's language as well earlier on. He joined Sasha in slipping the odd word in there, but still very entertaining. And like I say, these guys say it how it is at the end of the day, and we cannot blame them for that at all. Let's have a look at the championship standings then. As mentioned, a big old lead now for Norbert Kish. He moves up to 281 points to Jochen Hahn's 217. He has a very comfortable gap over the likes of Sasha Lenz, who moves a couple of points further away from Antonio Albacete. Steffi Halm is currently in 5th position ahead of Andre Kurzim in 6th. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez nearly on 100 points now, as Lucas Hahn is only 1 ahead of Stefan Faas, who is also being closed in on by Mark Taylor. He's having a fantastic weekend so far, is Mark. John Newell is on 26 points now, ahead of Heinrich Clemens-Hecker, with Louis Requenco and Luke Garrett completing the point scorers so far in 2024. In just a second, the next podium trio will make their way up for the Chrome category drivers. 7 of them on circuit this weekend, and all 7 of them finished that race. They've had some fantastic battles so far this season of our Chrome class drivers, and they will continue on for the remainder of the season, I'm sure. Great chatter there between Mark Taylor and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. This is one of the favourite things about it, though. The drivers all get on with one another. They all have a good chat with each other, and they have some solid debriefs after each of the races. Jochen Hahn gets the case for his trophy there. We compared them to shower doors yesterday because of their large, curved glass nature. And we wait now for the podium finishes to be announced. Heinrich Clemens-Hecker makes his way up to the podium. Mark Taylor continues a great weekend with another 2nd position. So he makes his way up to the left-hand side, or our left-hand side of the podium anyway. And a big handshake with Clemens. And race winner in the Chrome category once more, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, continuing an incredible run this season. 9 wins, 14 podiums. And he and the team will be very, very happy with that. 9 podiums as well for Mark Taylor this year and 2 wins. Clemens-Hecker yet to win in the category in 2024, but he's always getting quicker, and the team work very, very hard on that truck consistently. Mark Taylor in 2nd, receives his trophy. Another one for the shelf for this weekend. And then Jose Eduardo Rodriguez gets his trophy for the 9th time this year, a race winner. And now we'll have the national anthem of Portugal for our race-winning driver. Roger. And there we go, our Chrome podium. They will all make their way up onto the top step now, and you'll see just how tall Heinrich Clemens-Hecker is. I know I mention it a lot, but he doesn't mind it. He finds it funny, I think. They all pose for their pictures. And they will now spray champagne towards the media and everybody else. I'm sure a few of them down there will be feeling the sun after what's been a boiling hot weekend in Most. We love the tradition of the champagne. We'll wait for the second race of the day a little bit later on. And let's have a look at the standings at the moment in the Chrome class. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez now on 230 points to the 187 of Mark Taylor. He now moves up into second in the championship. So great stuff from Mark. Great consistency. Puts him back up there and right in the fight now ahead of Stefan Faas in third. Following them is John Newell in fourth. He's still ahead of Lucas Hahn, who will not be with us for the remainder of the season, I don't think. Louis Requenco now tied on 105 points with him. 99 to Heinrich Clemens Hecker, ahead of Luke Garrett, Bradley Smith and Jonathan Andre, the remaining drivers to have scored points so far in the Chrome class this year. Jose Eduardo looking very good at the top of the pile, though, nearly 50 points ahead of everybody else. Let's have a look back at some of the highlights, though, from the first race of the day here in Most. It's been a great Sunday so far, and we're looking forward to the last race of the weekend in a little bit. The last day of school vibe is still yet to come, as we often say. But the sun was still beaming down on everybody as they got prepared for another encounter. And after a bit of argy-bargy at the chicanes for the first two races of the weekend, we were hoping for no more of the same. Everyone made it cleanly through, and it was Sasha Lenz making his way up into third position ahead of Antonio Albacete. A little mistake here and there meant that he had to defend from time to time, but he managed to hold on to that position. Stefan Faas dropped down a little bit further down the order and had to still fight his way back through the Chrome ranks, not quite getting to the podium in the end, but he managed to at least make his way past Louis Requenco. Mark Taylor held on well in front of Steffi Halm, while Norbert Kish was under pressure the whole way from Jochen Hahn in a great fight. Andre Kurzim getting past Jose Eduardo Rodriguez at the midpoint as well. But lots of wonderful battles up and down the order, which we look forward to again a little bit later on. But for now, I'm going to bid you all farewell, and I will catch you again later on this afternoon when we have the final race of the weekend. And I'll pass back down to Christina, who's going to round out the show for us.
Sunnier, and also the trophies are getting shinier and shinier. Clemens Hecker, congratulations on the podium. And of course, you did receive the third place yesterday also. Did you receive a second trophy then, or does that count for two?
Yeah, this is the second trophy. So Eduardo comes yesterday evening after the penalty and gives me the first one. Right now we got the second one, so a good hot day. It was a perfect race.
What made it perfect, your race?
So we start in position 9. And we can hold it. Stefan was close behind me, but then you do issue with the brake. And I think we got 8 seconds behind me to John, so perfect for us.
Perfect conditions, but also, as you mentioned, it's getting hotter and hotter here. So one race to go. It's going to be reverse grid race. What are you aiming for then?
Yeah, I'm on P9, so Steffi is on pole position, and we will see what happens in the front. It's always better to stay in the back to see what happens in the front, and maybe you can get another trophy.
Yeah. Stay out of trouble, especially the first turn. What makes it so difficult to compete here? It's such a challenging but also very interesting circuit.
The first turn. So when you go to the first chicane, it's so close. You're so close together. We have seen it yesterday in the second race. So right now in this race, I have no touching, nothing. But it's very hard to get the first chicane straight.
Then have a good rest in between. Thank you very much. And congratulations. And also we're going to congratulate Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. And of course, we talked about it. Sometimes it's a fresh new start. And yes, you managed to receive the big trophy. All forgotten?
Yeah, I'm very happy with this result. I have a good start. I have a good race during race with Andre, but is the most important for me is the result and the point.
Yeah. Also to explain, because you're competing together the Chrome category and also the overall podium, and we saw that, as you mentioned, Andre Kurzim, he was coming close by, and you stay there out of trouble because.
Yeah, I have a position to Andre in the first corner. A good rhythm, a good speed every race, and in the final, Andre passed me, and we'll see what's happened in the second race.
And also what's happening in the future, but for you it was really good to stay out of trouble there for the Chrome category.
Yeah, it's good for the points for the championship. I have started with a good position in the race 4. I'm happy with this race and with the results.
Sounds good. Take a good rest then. Thank you very much. Muito obrigada. And we're going to have a small rest because race number 4, and they mentioned it's going to be epic. It's going to be legendary. And of course, we're hoping that everyone is staying out of trouble. So we want you to join us at 4:25. Set the alarm clock right. Then it's going to be reverse grid time here at the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Have a good rest also. Lots more action to come for us all. As a team, we really appreciate that you're joining us every time. Tell your friends and have a good rest. Until then, see you.